Welcome, Yogi, to our energy and immune boosting practice. This is a 45-minute breathwork and Hatha Yoga practice that you can take it as you need. You can make it as challenging or as gentle as you need to. No props required, but if you would like to make it really gentle, you might like to have a chair up the top end of the mat, and that can help with balance as well in some of the postures and also for sitting and seated meditation. We're going to start at the back of the mat, seated. So if you want to bring yourself into kneeling, cross-legged, or maybe legs are out in front. Sitting with the spine up tall, a little bit of length through tail and crown. And we'll take a moment to connect with our breath before we begin our practice. Placing hands on the heart and closing the eyes, letting the shoulders soften. And taking a moment to connect with you, where you're at. And to connect with the most powerful gift you have in improving your well-being, your breath, your life force. How is it moving for you today? We all know stress greatly impacts our immune system and our energy levels, as well as our nervous system, our adrenals, digestive system, creates muscle tension and affects our joint mobility. And this is because stress affects the rhythm of the diaphragm. So we're going to steady out that rhythm of the diaphragm with a few breathing techniques. Placing your right forearm across the lower ribs, so your right fingers wrap around those left ribs, and then with your left forearm across the lower ribs at the back body, just wrapping those left fingertips towards your right elbow. Keeping length through tail, length through crown as you focus on your breath, slow and smooth. And see if you can breathe into the base of the rib cage where the diaphragm sits, around the rim of the rib cage, front, back, and sides. Feeling the ribs expanding through the back, expanding the side ribs towards your fingertips, the elbows. And taking a breath in through the nose. And as you breathe out through pursed lips with a, like you're blowing out birthday candles. For 3 more as you take a breath in through the nose. And as you breathe out through pursed lips, maybe you can feel that little bit of activation of your pelvic floor lifting up, belly muscles drawing in, ribs drawing back together. 2 more as you breathe in through the nose. And breathing out through pursed lips. Then those lower ribs drop in, a bit of tone down through the front body. Last one as you inhale through the nose. And exhale through pursed lips. And then coming back to the breath in and out of the nose. Maybe you can feel a little more expansion around the rim of the rib cage, the diaphragm, into the forearms, the fingers. And release the back of hands to thighs. And keep going with that low, wide breath, the smooth, steady rhythm of the diaphragm. And starting to count to 3 as you breathe in. And counting to 3 as you breathe out. We have the power in our breath control to reverse the effects of stress. By steadying diaphragmatic flow, we also steady the mind. We're going to take this count of our breath flow into our practice to help give the mind more focus, but also setting that intention of a smooth diaphragmatic flow, regardless of the shape that we'll create with the body. Bringing the arms out wide. As you breathe in for 3, raising the arms up palms coming together. And as you breathe out for 3, bringing the hands back to heart center. 3 more as you take a breath in, reach up. Breathing out for 3, hands back to heart center. 2 more. Try not to create any strain or force to make the breath in too long that it causes tension. Just a deeper expansion to whatever your capacity is. 1 more as you inhale. Exhale. As hands come back to heart center, I'm going to interlace the fingers and give the wrist a little bit of rotation. And then as you press the palms out, stretch out the fingers, the forearms, round into the mid-back. Just gently drawing the sit bones together so you can tuck through the tail, scoop out through the belly. And take some deep breaths into the back body. Really feeling the belly draw in as you breathe out. And then as you next inhale, raise the arms up. And then breathing out, float the arms back down beside the body. We'll raise the left arm up beside the ear or maybe fingertips to shoulders if shoulders are a little tender. Right forearm around those lower ribs again and fingertips wrapping around the side ribs, the waist. As you extend through the left fingers, inhaling for 3. And as you exhale, tipping to the right. You can breathe into your right fingers, your palm. 3 more rounds as you breathe out for 3. And inhaling for 3. Try and keep those lower ribs in so you're not compressing the back ribs, the kidneys, the adrenals. And expanding through the left side of the lung, between the ribs to increase the breath flow. The next time you take a breath in, float the arm up. Breathe out, relax the arm down beside. Right arm reaches up, nice deep breath in, left hand around the ribs. Breathing out so those ribs draw in. And as you breathe in, a little more reach through right fingers. Breathing out, tipping to the left. And for 3 more cycles of breath, feeling that expansion through lung, side ribs, waist, even around to where the fingertips are, back ribs and kidneys. Keeping that little bit of tone through those lower ribs, back body open. And next time you inhale, float the arm up. Breathe out, release the arm back down. We'll come forward onto the hands, the knees. Bring the knees, the feet together. And then with wrist, shoulder width apart, have a little bit of rotation on the knees to limber them up. A little bit of limbering into the shoulders and the wrists. So find a little hug into your armpits. So as you load onto the wrists, you got strength through shoulders, mid-back broad. Going back the other way. And then as you come back to center, we're going to bring the knees a little wider than hip width, big toes together. Place the right hand underneath the heart. And as you take a breath in, raise the left arm up. As you breathe out, thread through with that left arm. So you can rest on the right side of your head, maybe even take that right hand up the top end of the mat. Breathing in for 3. Breathing out for 3. 3 more cycles of breath. And sensing that expansion through the chest, the heart, the shoulder. Giving the lungs, the diaphragm more flexibility to flow with the breath as we limber up the thoracic, mid-back. And then we're going to slide that right hand beside the face, press into the floor so left hand is underneath the heart. Reach up with right arm as you take a breath in, and then breathing out, thread through. Rest on the right side of the head, maybe even take that left arm up the length of the mat. Just closing the eyes, 3 more cycles of breath as you inhale for 3. Exhale for 3. giving the body more flexibility by expanding from within. So not so much forcing the body into a stretch or a shape, letting the breath take us there. Now from here, bring that left hand beside the face. Press into the floor so you can come onto all fours with wrists underneath the shoulders. And with knees under the hips, feet pointing straight back from the knees. Coming into our cat-cow, a little hug into the armpits. Take a breath in. And as you breathe out, tuck the tail, tuck the chin round into the back body. As you push into the feet, the hands. As you inhale, dip into your cow pose, drop the belly, tuck the toes, spread the sit bones, roll the shoulders back and down. You might be looking at top end of mat or slightly forward. Breathing out, release the feet, press into the hands to feet. Breathing into hyperextend or squeeze into the back body as you spread the sit bones, squeeze the shoulder blades together. 3 more as you breathe out to flex. Breathing in to extend. Find a little bit of pressure into your finger pads so you can take the weight out of the heel of the hands, a little more strength into the knuckles. Keeping that gentle hug into your armpits. The next time you flex into your cat pose, you're going to hold there for 3 cycles of breath as you push into the hands, the shins, the knees. Really draw the sit bones together, tuck the tail and scoop up through pelvic floor belly. Breathing into the back body. Bring some strength and endurance into the front body and giving a nice toning to the digestive organs. The next time you take a breath in for 3, as you breathe out, coming into child pose, keep the sit bones together, back body rounded, buttocks to heels. Inhale for 3, keep your cat shape. Exhale for 3, 3 more. Make it nice and slow, steady movement, steady diaphragmatic flow, steadies the mind, calms the nervous system. Breathing out for 3. Breathing in for 3. Inhaling for 3. This time I'm going to exhale back into child and stay there as you bring buttocks towards the heels, belly to thighs, maybe forehead rests. You might extend the arms or have the elbows bent, hands under the forehead. And coming back to your breathing in for 3. Breathing out for 3. Breathing into the kidneys, your battery packs underneath the diaphragm. Filling them up with life force as you expand and contract. And the next time you take a breath in, lift up onto the knees, bring the buttocks over the knees. You can come into Allah by walking the hands out in front. We're going to bring forehead to the floor, keep the arms active, elbows off the floor, buttocks above the knees. If you want to make it puppy pose, a bit gentle on the shoulders, you could cross the forearms, forehead to the floor. Try not to let the front of your chest, your upper belly expand towards the floor. Keep that little hug into the armpit. Draw breastbone to belly button, maybe even blow out a few birthday candles. Keep those back ribs, kidneys open. Like you're creating an energy containment through the torso. Little spread of sit bones, length through tail. So it's quite an active pose rather than letting the front body collapse towards the floor. 3 more counts of breath, breathing in for 3. And breathing out for 3. Maybe even using that candle breath to keep that tone from breastbone to belly button. You might use this pose as your alternative to downward facing dog. And then from here, walk the hands in, come back to all fours, the wrists underneath the shoulders. We're going to tuck the toes under. Maybe you're going to keep going with your cat-cow pose, or you might push into the floor, lift back into your downward facing dog. feet hip width apart, little hug into the armpits. Take a breath in as you lift up the toes. And as you breathe out, shoulders over wrists, slowly lower to a hover. All fours. Feel your lower core switch on. Inhale for 3. Exhale for 3 as you lower. And 3 more as you inhale for 3. And exhale for 3. 2 more. Inhale for 3. Maybe it's cat-cow if it feels like it's a little too strong in downward facing dog. Inhale for 3. And exhale, hover the knees. Maybe you're going to come into your downward dog or your puppy pose and holding there for 3. So those lower ribs draw in, tone from breastbone to belly button. Find that hug into your armpits. So you're trying to stretch them out away from your toes. Try not to lock out the knees. So you're not tucking the tail and rounding into your lower back. You want to spread the sit bones length through tail. Just let the heels soften. They don't have to touch the floor. Breathing into side ribs, waist, back body. You might be on all fours or downward facing dog and bring the big toes to touch or the knees together if you're on the knee. Ground into that left foot, left knee. Raise the right leg up and then step through with your right foot, heel underneath the knee. And really power up through that left leg, or maybe rest the knee on the floor, but keep the toes tucked, a little bit of perkiness into that left buttock. Left hand onto the floor, right hand on thigh, and as you tuck in that right sit bone, peel to the right. Easy twist, maybe hand is on the hip, or you might raise that right arm up towards the ceiling. Just making sure that right heel is right underneath the knee so you can power into that right buttock crease. Sink the hips towards the floor as you push back through that left heel. 3 more counts of breath. Breathing in for 3, soft belly as you receive the breath. And then breathing out for 3, draw the belly button gently in to draw the energy up from your base, right up into your heart. Little tuck through chin, so back of neck's long. So not busying the mind with cranking through the back of neck. Shoulders away from ears. And then we'll release that right hand to the floor. Pyramid pose, we're going to step that left foot 1 footprint in. Turn the left heel in so you can open up the back of the right knee. Doesn't have to be a straight leg. You might have your hands to your shin or your thigh. Or you might bring hands to back of the pelvis. This is where you might use your hands on the chair if you need to. Stay with the ball of that right big toe, tucking in through the right sit bone. And then maybe you're comfortable to fold a little further forward, belly towards the thigh. You might even look towards that left foot. Maybe raise the knuckles up and over. Pressing into little toe edge of left foot. Stay with the ball of that right big toe. And as you find the end of your breath out, feel that stability. Connection to your base, your core. 3 more cycles of breath, counting to 3 as you breathe in. 3 as you breathe out. Feeling strong, stable through the legs. That smooth, easy flow of breath. From here, we're going to rest our left forearm on the lower back. Place the right hand to shin or elbow to thigh. Trikonasana as you peel open to the left. And let those left fingertips tuck down and tap in that right hip bottom. See if you can turn the inside of your right knee up towards the armpit and reach the tail towards the left heel. You might have left hand on the hip or raise that left arm up. Try not to collapse into the joint by bringing the hand to the floor and sticking the bottom out. Lift up out of the joints. Find your strength, your core. Looking down at the big toe for balance. Or maybe looking up past your thumb, chin tucked. Noticing if that back body is contracted and front body is opening up. Maybe blow out a few birthday candles. Tone through front body energy containment. 3 more breaths. Breathing in for 3. Breathing out for 3. Just noticing if you're opening up into that bananaing of side body, so you can lengthen through the right waist. Deepen into that right hip crease. When you finish those few breaths, fold down with the left hand, little bend into that right knee. Come onto those left toes. You might come into that easy twist again, or challenge yourself with a rotated half moon, left hand forward. You're going to raise that left leg up, find that left buttock crease. And then maybe the right hand is on the hip, or you might raise that right arm up towards the ceiling, once again looking down at the floor for balance, or looking up past that right thumb. Find your breath for 3 more counts. Lifting up out of the right hip. Breathing in for 3. Breathing out for 3. When you finish those 3 breaths, release that right hand. Gracefully step back into your lunge. Push into the floor. Come back into your downward dog. Take a nice deep breath in as you lift up onto toes. Breathing out to your hover, or have a little rest in child. Check in with your energy levels. Inhale for 3. Exhale for 3. Little hug into your armpits. 3 more cycles. Inhale. And exhale. Feel that tone through your core. 2 more. Maybe perfect chance to rest in child or puppy pose. Or come back to your downward dog. 3 more cycles of breath. Try not to lock out those knees. Spread the sit bones, length through tail. Tuck into those lower ribs. You're not losing energy through the solar plexus, the upper belly. Keep those back ribs, kidneys open as you breathe into them. And maybe on your hands and knees, big toes together or knees together. Stay on that right foot, right knee. Raise the left leg up, and then stepping through with the left foot, heel underneath the knee. Come into your easy twist as you power up that back leg, maybe knees on the floor, left hand on the thigh. Peeling yourself open, you might even raise that left arm up. Even if that back knee's on the floor, keep the buttocks slightly perky. Send energy through that back heel. Maybe you can sink the hips a little closer to the floor. You're pressing into that left heel to find your buttock crease. Power through the glute, the hamstring. 3 more cycles of breath, counting to 3 as you breathe in. Breathing out for 3. Using that soft belly to receive the breath. Drawing that energy out from your base as you breathe out. Gentle draw of belly button in. Then release that left hand down, pyramid pose. Step the right foot, 1 footprint in. Drop that right heel in. And then open up the back of the left knee. You might have the hands to the shin or the thigh. Staying with the ball of that left big toe, tucking in the left sit bone. Maybe even hands behind the pelvis. You might be quite comfortable folding a little further forward. Tucking the chin, looking towards that right foot. And then maybe lifting knuckles up towards the ceiling. Long back of neck. Drawing that left sit bone towards the back heel. Maybe the knees slightly bent. Finding that end of your exhale for stability. Anchor the mind. 3 more cycles of breath. Counting to 3 as you breathe in and 3 as you breathe out. And then we'll place that right forearm on the lower back. Trikonasana with left hand on the shin or elbow on the thigh, peel open to the right. And with your right fingers, you're going to tuck in that left bottom, send the tail towards your heel. Maybe the knees slightly bent. Staying with the ball of that left big toe. Notice if the back body is contracted, you might breathe out a few birthday candles, draw the lower ribs in. And we raise that right arm up or hand on the hip. You might look down at your big toe for balance or look up past the thumb, tucking the chin, keeping that tone through front of throat. 3 more cycles of breath. Keep lengthening through that left waist so you're not bananaing through the right side of body. Deepening into that left hip crease. Pressing into little toe edge of your back foot. When you finish those few breaths, a little bend in that left knee, fingertips to the floor as you roll onto that right foot. Maybe an easy twist or rotate your half moon as you step the right hand forward, raise the right leg, find that butter crease. You might have left hand on the hip, lift up out of the left hip. Find your focus point and 3 more cycles of breath. Inhaling for 3. Exhaling for 3. Use that tone from ribs to hips through the front body to carry the weight of the torso. Little tuck through chin. And then slowly release that left hand to the floor. Gracefully step back into your lunge. Push into the floor, either your downward dog or child pose for a little breather. Take a breath into toes. Breathing out, maybe you're resting here or coming for a little slow with your hover. Inhale for 3. Exhale for 3. When the broad shoulder blades, a little hug into your armpits. Inhale for 3. And exhale for 3. And this time we'll hold there either in our downward facing dog, maybe it's puppy pose or child pose. Use the option that works best for you. 3 more cycles of breath. Sinking through the heels, a little bit of a bend in those knees so you can spread the sit bones, send your tail towards the ceiling. Drop in through those lower ribs. You're not losing any energy out of the front body. Find that containment of energy through your torso. Open through the back and the front body evenly. We're not spilling any energy out. The next time you take a breath in, lift onto the toes. Breathing out slowly to knees. Release the feet. Take a breath in and breathe out lower to the earth. Maybe you've got hands underneath your forehead or forehead on the floor. Elbows wide as you rest the tops of the feet onto the mat. And closing the eyes. Feeling all that space through the back body as you breathe. So the tail reaches further away from back of skull as you breathe in. And then surrendering and releasing the weight of your body to the earth. Feeling completely supported there. The next time you take a breath in, counting to 3, have little pauses at each count. So you're sipping a little bit of breath in to 1, a little bit more breath in 2, and filling up to 3. Breathing out 1 long, smooth breath out. Pausing for those 3 sips of breath in, so the whole back body, side body expanding as you fill up. And one long, smooth breath out. And 3 more cycles of Viloma breathing, increasing your lung capacity, your lung elasticity, your vitality. It also has a way of clearing and calming the mind. And the next time you breathe out, come back to your regular breathing, letting it move in and out of the body. We're going to bring the hands beside the chest, hug into the armpits, reach the elbows towards the heels, and gently press into the tops of the feet. Draw sit bones together. Inhale, baby cobra, shoulder blades back and down. Exhale, lower. Press into the pubic bone. Inhale, peel open. Exhale, lower. And just 3 more at your own pace. Maybe you can peel open just that little bit more, but try not to clench your buttocks. It'll prevent the back bend. A little bit of drawing through the sit bones, pelvic floor active. The next time you lower to the floor, we're going to lift ourselves halfway up and then hover the hands. Keeping that tuck through chin so you're not compressing back of neck and busying the mind. Length through crown. Heaviness through the pubic bone if you like. You might like to lift the legs. Extend through toes and crown of head. Counting to 3 as you breathe in. And 3 as you breathe out. 3 more counts of breath. Give that little hug into the armpits. Reach the elbows towards the heels. Press through back of the skull as you extend through the crown of the head. And then from here, as you rest the feet, the hands, push back into child pose, or maybe lay on your back, give your knees a hug. You might have hands on the forehead or arms beside the legs, letting your tail sink down between the heels. And the jaw, the facial muscles soften. And this time as you focus on the count of the breath in for 3, we're going to pause the breath out for 3 on the exhale. So breathing in one smooth breath, counting to 3. And then pausing as you release a little bit of breath, 1. A little bit more breath, 2. And then releasing completely, 3. 3 more cycles of Viloma as you pause on the breath out. Feeling yourself sinking and releasing deeper with each of those exhales. And the next time you empty out with the breath, come back to the breath, moving in and out of the body, moving up from base to crown as you breathe in. And breath moving back down through the body as you breathe out. And finding those natural pauses at the top end of the breath in, and then at the bottom end of the breath out. Gentle pauses at the end of each cycle of breath. And then with hands beside the face, and gently press into the floor to come up. We're going to bring the feet to the right, sitting onto the left buttock. Bring the left hand behind you so you can take right hand to left knee. Shoulders relax, take a breath in to lengthen. And as you breathe out, turning towards the left as you draw in through the base, the belly. Turn the ribs, the shoulders, chin and eyes to the left. Letting that softness through belly receive the breath. And as you find that end of your breath out, drawing energy up from your base all the way up to your heart. Maybe you can gradually find that pause at the end of your exhale again. And then from here, we're going to turn face back towards the front, bring the chest, the belly with it. Staying on that left buttock, we're going to place left foot against the right knee. Coming into our half pigeon, so maybe that left shin is parallel to the top end of the mat. A little release into the glute, into the hip as you start to fold forward. Maybe fingertips are to the floor, maybe elbows soften to the thighs or the floor. It's as though you're spreading your sit bones apart and wanting your tail to tip out towards the back end of the mat. You might let your head dangle, stack the fist for the forehead, or forehead on the floor. And just giving yourself another 3 more long, smooth breaths out to surrender any tensions in the body, surrendering them down into the earth, feeling completely supported. And then from here, we'll press into the floor, bringing yourself up. We're going to sweep the feet to the left so you can bring them beside the buttock, sitting onto that right hip with right hand on the floor behind, left hand on right knee. Take a breath in to lift. And as you breathe out, turn from the base, the belly, chest, the shoulders, the chin and the eyes to the right. That softness of belly receiving the breath in. And that gentle drawing in through navel as you pull the breath, energy flow up into your heart on the breath out. And 3 more breaths. And then as you slowly release the face, the chest, the belly, will bring that right shin up parallel to the top end of the mat. Left knee towards the right foot. Your half pigeon pose. You're going to start to fold forward. Maybe you might have elbows on the legs or fingertips to the floor. Start to spread the sit bones a little wider apart. You might even rest the elbows, maybe even dangle the head, stack the fists. You can rest your forehead. And once more, focusing on that long, smooth breath out, surrendering tensions from the body. Releasing completely for 3 more breaths. And then from here, pressing into the floor to bring yourself upright. So you can come into a seated position for a little more breath focus, a little meditation clear. You might sit in your chair, or you could sit comfortably cross-legged or kneeling if that's okay for you. I'll turn to face you. You're going to find that little bit of space between the sit bones, length through tail and crown. Bringing the hands into Yana Mudra, so you're going to bring tip of thumb, first finger to touch. And having the back of the hands resting on your thighs, your knees, with a softness through the shoulders. Letting the back of the skull settle back in line with back of heart. As you close the eyes, coming back to that steady breath flow of breath moving up through the body as you breathe in. And down through the body as you breathe out. And the next time you breathe out, sending energy, connection down into the earth. All the way down into the earth's core. And then as you breathe in, drawing up from the earth's core into your core, your solar plexus. Breathing out, connecting with the earth's core. And as you breathe in, drawing up nourishment, strength and resilience up into your core. You might visualize it as an energy cord, or maybe it's a flow of lava, nectar from the earth. The next time you take a breath in up into your core, pausing there and bring your awareness up into the mind. As you breathe out, sending any mental clutter, busyness, negativity, emotional binds or busyness, all the way down into the earth's core. And as you pause there, releasing it into the core of the earth. Inhaling back up into your core. And as you breathe out, releasing whatever it is that might be getting in the way of knowing your vibrant self. Any mental clutter, busyness, distractions. Breathing them out down into the earth's core. And breathing in your nourishment from the earth's core. And gradually releasing that connection down into the earth. Letting it draw up into your base. So the breath in, the breath out moves up and down your torso. That vibrancy of life force is contained within you. You can tap into that energy source whenever you feel the need. You might stay seated, or you might like to come back, lay in Savasana for a few minutes. Perhaps you're going to lay yourself long with the legs out, arms out wide. Or if lower back needs a more restorative position, have the knees bent, heels wide, toes turning, and the knees knocked together. Baby giraffe. Staying with that slow, steady pace of breath. With each sacred breath, I am connected. And the world is a vast ocean of energy that I am a part of. So hum. I am that. Repeating the sound so as you breathe in. Hum as you breathe out. And just gradually starting to release the mantra. Bring a bit of awareness into your fingertips and toes as you breathe into them. Give them a wiggle. And if you're laying on your back, you might come into a full body stretch or perhaps a knee hug. And then just slowly bending the knees, roll to your right side so you can peel your way up. And as you bring yourself up to seated, so you can sit with the spine up tall, arms out wide. And then as you take a breath in, reaching up, bringing palms together. And as you breathe out, drawing hands down to heart center. And as you bring hands to forehead for kind thoughts, hands to lips for kind words, and hands to heart for kind actions. As we bow our heads and honor the light, the love, and the beauty that resides in each and every one of our hearts. And we say, Namaste.